I'm here today with William Hollingshead, Executive Director and Chief Curator at the Sault Ste. Marie Museum. Hello, how are you today?
Doing great, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for joining me here today. It's a very important interview because I assume with the museum and with the pandemic and schools being out, you're not getting as much traffic at the museum and that you've had to shift your whole marketing up and still engage in the community. And that's why we're here today, because you've come up with a great idea. Why don't you let everybody know about it?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we haven't been able to have the community come in and engage with the museum as the artifacts and the space itself. So we've been trying to come up with ways to make things more interesting, stay relevant, and engaged with the community. So we've recently just launched our online gift shop, and on our online gift shop, we've put out a local history coloring book. So earlier in the year, we did put out some free kind of pages for the community. This one is going to be a little bit different. It has some different kind of buildings that weren't previously released and a little bit more kind of information as well. And those are going for $12 as a help to kind of fundraise and make sure that the museum can keep going through and past the pandemic.
That's great. Now, I would assume that you had some exhibitions typically going on at the museum, and if we weren't in a pandemic, what's happened to that? Are you able to still highlight the museum and what's going on, and what are some of the areas you've had to change in order to keep everything relevant and within the community?
Yeah, so normally we would have kind of a biannual rotating exhibit within our Durham gallery. We did launch a Bonsu exhibit earlier this year. Sadly, not very many people got the chance to physically come in and see it. So we actually did do a virtual tour of that, which is up on our website and is still there for kind of past archival purposes. So people can always go check that out.
Okay.
We are launching a new exhibit as well, and we will be doing the same thing. So going more virtual with that and hoping that at some point people can come down and see it.
Okay, great. So tell me a little bit about this coloring. What are this coloring book about? Who created the coloring book? I think it was your staff that did so. And what does some of the pages entail?
Yeah, for sure. So one of my fantastic summer students that we've kept on, Myri Morrisou, she made the coloring book. So basically she hand traced and drew all the buildings and added in some of the text from our historical database. So inside of it, you might see the Rotary Arch. There's definitely the museum. There's the Old Stone House, the Clerk Block House. There's the locks. We also have a spot where people can kind of draw or come up with their own building, and then they can either cut the page out or take a picture and send it to us. And we're going to be putting those up on a community kind of art wall in our new exhibit.
Okay, why don't we just take a second, just tell everybody what your website, the address is, so they know where to go, and if they should follow you on Facebook, if you have a social media platform in which we can highlight on this interview today.
Yeah, for sure. So our website is saultmuseum.ca, and that's SAULT Museum. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and recently we've been on TikTok, so we're trying to kind of stay relevant in that as well.
That's a smart marketing move and engaging our younger target audience to go to the museum and follow it online. Congratulations on the online store. It is the way of the future, and I wish you all the success. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss before we have to end this interview today?
Do have a couple virtual programming events coming up for the month of June. So it being Pride Month and National Indigenous Peoples Month, we're looking at doing a couple film screenings and panels, one being a local film about the LGBT community, and then the other being a screening of the Hiawatha play, which we have a copy of. And then following those screenings, we're going to do some panels. Otherwise, lots of kind of virtual digital stuff. We're trying to share important things on important days and just be out there as much as possible.
Well, congratulations on how you've shifted and pivoted your business model to accommodate the pandemic and still make sure that history is part of Sault Ste. Marie and that our residents are aware of what's going on. And great idea about the coloring books. We will be going on. I will be doing that for my guy as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. We wish you all the success in the future, and we will definitely have you back for another interview in the coming days.
Sounds fantastic. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Take care.